On Larry King Now, Marilyn Manson. Is the man behind the makeup a villain or just vilified?
Your quality as an artist is measured equally by people that dislike you and people that love you.
The goth icon sets the record straight.
I saw this taking place on TV. I go, I know I'm going to get blamed for this. Now, I think that I've been blamed for about 36 school shootings.
Plus, what name would you give me if I were taking another name?
Salvador Dolly Parton.
I love that.
Boom.
Next on Larry King Now. Welcome to Larry King Now. Today's guest is Marilyn Manson, a man who needs no introduction, a platinum-selling musician, Grammy-nominated artist, cult rock icon. He is now performing with another friend, Alice Cooper, in his Masters of Madness shock therapy tour. When he's not making music, he acts, makes absinthe, and dabbles in watercolor painting. And thanks for coming. Your name is Brian Warner.
Brian Hugh Warner, in fact.
Does anyone ever call you Brian?
My dad does. Yeah.
He never got hooked on this, did he?
No. He's hooked on it. In fact, he likes to come out on tour. I think he likes to soak up some of the. He came from me, so
he helps
with the young girls.
Oh, tell me how this thing came. Tell me the shtick. How did you become Marilyn Manson?
Well, we might have this in common. I was moved to Florida with my father. And my first job that I could get, I conned my way into becoming a music journalist in Florida. So I interviewed a lot of people.
Where, in Miami?
Yeah, in Miami. It was a magazine called 25th Parallel. And by the time I was 19, I was a senior editor. And I was also most of the other writers. So the very first interview with Marilyn Manson was conducted by Brian Warner. So
you interviewed yourself?
Yeah, and I didn't have any songs yet. So I sort of set that deadline.
How did you come up with the Marilyn Manson thing?
Well, it was the obvious watching... you know, at the time, all the Phil Donahues and Jerry Springer, before Jerry Springer, but, you know, the fact that I was born in 1969 and that was the year that the Beatles, you know, Charles Manson and Marilyn Monroe, I just remember as a kid, Marilyn Monroe, fake name, Charles Manson, fake name, you put the two together, it's like abracadabra, and it really describes American culture altogether, Marilyn Manson. You've got light and dark.
But you take the name of a notorious villain.
Well, she wasn't a villain.
No, he. Good line, Marilyn. Now, how did the makeup come about? Why the lipstick? Why glass where I can see myself talking to you?
Well, the lipstick's good, though, because then if you come home with lipstick on your collar, if you were a white-collar job man, then you don't have to, you know.
Good thinking.
See, it's always got to keep the...
But, I mean, why did you go this route?
Being a fan of Bowie, Prince, Alice Cooper, of course, and even Madonna. I don't know. I think it's probably, you know, I wrote a book before I was famous, really, an autobiography, and that sort of turned me into being more popular by making the book. It was sort of what Bowie did with Ziggy Stardust, came to America and said that he was something bigger than he was. I've always just been a big fan of the art of war, or the war of art, whichever way you want to look at it. And just, if you're going to do something in life, I've always been a big fan of film and big fan of music, and I just wanted to be a part of it. And I had a lot of things to say about pop culture.
Do you do the makeup every day? Or do you ever go around just without the makeup, just like get on a plane, no one knows who you are?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's more simple. I mean, other than the fact that I probably do less makeup than any girl that I know. I mean, just a little lipstick, you take it off, and suddenly I've become a redneck from Ohio, so it's easy.
You like to turn people off?
Like a light type is it?
I mean,
no, you mean like may offend people? You mean?
Yeah, do you get a kick out of offending people? It's just shtick.
I think, well, it's always been for me, you know, chaos and confusion are the best form of communication for me. I think that's the way that you can really make art. You know, art should be a question mark. It should not be an answer. So if you ever explain your art rather than letting your art be the explanation of you.
I understand.
Yeah, and you know, and then being a journalist, you know, it's still journalistic in some ways because I look at the world and I try and think of how to process it. And then when you become part of the pop culture that you started out criticizing, and I started out as a journalist writing about people that criticized art, it's sort of, when I think back at it, it sort of has a weird progression to it. But I think your quality as an artist is measured equally by people that dislike you and people that love you. That you need to have both, or you're mediocre.
You don't mind being disliked?
I care more about the people that I surround myself with, what their opinions are, and then when you think about it, you end up showing all of your inner secrets, or whatever you want to show, your feelings in songs and things like that, to strangers. Essentially, I get on stage and I sing things that I wrote personally about someone or to someone, and I sing it to strangers. So when people say, "Oh, is there a difference between Brian Warner and Marilyn Manson?" Those are just words. What is similar with they probably have a different amount of letters in them, you know. But other than that, it's a way of describing.